Hello, everyone. This is the most magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I will be going over the calendar finally in this calendar review. And not only that, I had mentioned that I saw Scream 6 this past weekend, and I'm also going to be going into spoilers for Scream 6, but don't you guys worry, you guys will be warned once again before I talk spoilers about that, because it's gonna be kind of hard to talk about it without spoiling things, because all of the Scream movies have been sort of like a whodunit type of movie, and this one is no different in that aspect. And that's why I said, instead of beating around the bush and trying not to spoil things, I might as well go in on the spoilers and talk about it and give my thoughts. And I'll give my spoiler-free thoughts right now. I really liked it. I liked it a lot better than Scream 5. I can definitively say that I liked Scream 6 way better than I did Screams 5 and 3. Without a doubt. I have no doubt about that. And there's a negative about it that, at first I saw it as a negative on Scream 6, but as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm turning my opinion on that around, and I'm actually starting to, I'm not thinking of it as a negative anymore, but we'll talk about that when I get to the spoilers. But anyway, enough of me just wasting time. I think we should go ahead and jump into the calendar, shall we? First up on the agenda is a faction level up tournament, and that has already started on Monday, March the 20th, and that's going to be until Thursday, March the 23rd. Then we have a faction survival road tournament, which has already started on Monday, March the 20th. And that's going to be until Wednesday, March the 22nd. Then we have a solo level up tournament that's going to be starting on Thursday, March the 23rd. And that's going to be until Sunday, March the 26th. Then we have a solo raid tournament that's going to be starting on Wednesday, March the 22nd. And that's going to be until Friday, March the 24th. Then we have the continuation of the trash Mythic Battle Pass Season 20. That's going to be going on for about another week until next Monday, March the 27th. Then we have the March Walker Weekend. At the time of this recording, that event has actually ended, so we don't really need to talk about that, as that event ended already. Then we have the St. Patty's Gold Hunt event. That's still continuing, and that's going to be until April the 6th. Then we have the Ultra Recruits St. Patty's Rosita, and that's also going to be until April the 6th. And then to close out the week, we have the Advanced Choice Recruits, and that's also going to be ending on the same day, on April the 6th. And I guess we're not going to get a war this weekend. I mean, unless they add it at the last minute, which is entirely possible, but it doesn't look like we're going to get a cross-region war again unless, they add it literally the day before Friday, which is entirely possible for sure. We just don't know right at this very moment. So, yeah, I don't think I have much else to add. And so, this is the moment where if you don't want to hear any spoilers on Scream 6, if you don't want to know nothing at all, because I'm getting ready to go into how it opens, the killer reveals, and, you know, as much, not every single little thing, but I'm getting ready to spoil it. So, if you don't want to hear anything, this is the best time to go ahead and click off the video. That way you'll be absolutely safe from spoilers from me. So, for those that want to go ahead and go, I do thank you for watching, and hope to catch you next time. And for those that want to go ahead and stay, you don't have to go nowhere. So, in 3, 2, 1, okay. Hopefully, everybody that doesn't want to be here is clicked off of the video by this point. So, here we go. So, like I said, I'm not going to talk about every single thing, and everything I'm going to talk about might be a little out of order, maybe not, but just bear with me here. It's been a couple days, you know. So, the movie starts with Samara Weaving's character, whose name I have forgotten, but anyway, you know, she's the opening kill, so it's not that her character's not really that important because she's getting ready to get killed here. But anyway, Samara Weaving's character is at this bar waiting for a date, and her date is calling her to tell her that, you know, that he's lost, and obviously this is Ghostface trying to lure her into a trap, and of course she ends up leaving the bar. She falls for the trap, and he's like, you know, meet me in the alleyway so I can see you. And of course she falls for it, and Ghostface kills her in the alleyway. And this is the part I was talking about where I thought it was a negative at first. So the Ghostface killer kills her, and he unmasks himself early on in the movie, and you're thinking, wait, what's going on? And it turns out that this guy Jason that killed Samara Weaving's character, he's a killer in training, pretty much. Like, him and this other guy, Jason and Greg, they want to become copycat Ghostface killers, and they were planning on killing Sam and Tara, but both of them got cold feet. I think Jason is the one that got cold feet about it, so he wanted to kill Samara Weaving's character, who ended up being this professor at whatever college is in New York. So he wanted to know what it felt like to kill someone. So yeah, that's why Samara Weaving's character got killed. So Jason, he goes back to his apartment, and he gets a phone call, and Ghostface calls Jason and tells him pretty much, I saw you kill that poor woman in that alleyway. So turns out, you know, this Jason guy, he's not our real Ghostface, because he gets killed here. So this whole exchange ends with so Ghostface wants to play a hot and cold type of game with Jason, and it all ends with Jason finding his buddy Greg chilling out in the refrigerator. Like, trust me, if you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And Jason, he turns around to get stabbed by the actual Ghostface killer of the movie. And Jason and Greg, they are super fans of the Richie character from Scream 5, and they feel like they would be honoring Richie by killing Sam and Tara. So that's their reason for doing all of that, for planning on killing the two leads of this movie, the newer characters. And as Jason is dying, he looks up at Ghostface. He's like, we gotta finish the movie. And the actual Ghostface of the movie, he's like, who effing cares about the movies? And then he just slashes them into the title card. And let's see, Tara is going to a party for, that's what college students do and all of that, to I think a frat party. Yeah, she goes to a frat party, and Chad, he's also there, and Sam ends up finding out that Tara went to this party. She goes to get her, and they have sort of, kind of like an argument, but like, I get it though, Sam is being overprotective of Tara, but understandably so due to the events of what happened in the last movie with them too. And Tara's like, telling Sam, you just gotta let me go and you gotta trust me. And Sam, understandably so, she's trying to be overprotective of her sister. I mean, both of them almost died in Scream 5, especially Tara. She definitely got turned pretty much into a shish kebab in the last movie in that opening. So, understandably, she's overprotective. So, these girls are like talking about Sam and stuff, and they think that these girls think that Sam set Richie up, and they think he's innocent. There's these rumors going around that supposedly Sam set Richie up, and that she's the one that did all of the killings in the fifth one. And that's like total bullcrap. Absolutely. But, she gets into a little bit of a fight. One girl throws like Pepsi or Coca-Cola on her or something. But anyway, they get back to their apartment where they're sharing, Sam and Tara are all sharing a apartment with Mindy, Chad, Ethan, Mindy, and Mindy's girlfriend. I think her name is Akita or Annika or something like that. I know they said her name. I think it might be Annika. And then they also are sharing it with this other girl named Quinn. And they watch the news, and there's a news report on those two guys, Jason and Greg, that were found dead in that apartment. And next thing you know, you get this, Sam gets this call from a Detective Bailey, and her driver's license was found at the crime scene in the apartment. And he pretty much tells her that, look, you need to come down to the police station. I have some questions for you, because her driver's license was found there, and that was done on purpose, to make Sam look guilty. And, Sam is going to go to the police station to be questioned, and Tara decides to come with her. Even though Sam wants her safe at the apartment, Tara comes with her. Then, as they're walking the streets of New York, Sam gets a phone call from Ghostface, and he's pretty much like, you and your sister, you're going to pay for what you did. I'm going to get y'all. And, he's like, at first he says, you ought to thank me for killing Jason and Greg, because those two little punks wanted to kill you and your sister. And she's like, you killed them to protect us? And he's like, not quite. So he's like, I didn't want them getting to you first. If anyone is going to get to you and your sister, I'm gonna be the one to do it. You two are gonna pay for what you did. And that's referring to Scream 5, you know. And then, next thing you know, both of them get attacked by Ghostface, and the chase ends up, they end up in a little supermarket. And I'm pretty sure this part was in the trailer, but I don't know. I didn't watch the trailer. And if anyone was curious as to what it would be like for Ghostface to use a shotgun, watch this movie, because Sam and Tara they run into the supermarket and they're like, you gotta help us, you gotta call 911, he's chasing us, he's trying to kill us, and next thing you know, there's Ghostface. He walks through the door, and this one guy is like, oh, wait a minute, whoa, what's going on? And then Ghostface just goes to stabbing him, and he also gets the shopkeeper there that's working as Sam and Tara are running and hiding in the store. And this is where he goes behind the counter, Ghostface, and he grabs a shotgun. And I'm going to tell you, this movie is, pretty gory and pretty bloody. But this part, they purposely don't show this part. And I'm actually okay with that, because he gets the shopkeeper, the shopkeeper's laying up against the wall from where he just got stabbed. And Ghostface, he gets that shotgun and he just, bam, he just blows that poor guy's head off. Oh my goodness. You don't get to see that. They film it in a way where a part of the counter of the store has it purposely blocked, and you just see the blood splatter. And I'm actually okay with that, but damn, like, holy crap, that whole sequence in the store was pretty intense. Definitely, for sure, because the way he's able to use that shotgun, just, there's a particular ghost face that I think is using it, and we'll get to that. So they're able to slip by him. They push one of the aisles down and knock him down to the ground. That way they can run out of there real quick, because, like, the other two guys, they didn't get so lucky. So the police come, they go to the police station, and they're questioned by the Detective Bailey. And, he's asking if Sam, have you ever been to that apartment? Did you ever know Jason and Greg? And she's like, no. And, it's obvious that someone stole her license somehow and planted it there. So, and the interview gets, the interrogation, I should say, gets wrapped up, gets interrupted by this other police officer. They say, hey, Detective Bailey, the FBI, the Atlanta department, someone sent an FBI agent from the Atlanta department. They want to talk to you. So he goes, and it's revealed that Kirby Reed is that FBI agent sent from the Atlanta Police Department. And that was, honestly, I thought that was really cool. That was a really cool surprise that Kirby Reed, we already knew she was going to be in the movie, but it turns out that they hired her to, she wanted to become a FBI agent, and pretty much her, why she's there, they have a dedicated task force to stopping Ghostface killers. So that's why she's there. And I gotta be honest, I don't know if this is a popular opinion or unpopular opinion, but I actually prefer Kirby Reed in Scream 6 over Scream 4. I still like her in both, but there's something about her being a law, involving, something about her being involved with the law, her being an FBI agent. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's badass, in my opinion. I just like it. So, yeah, she's pretty much explains that, hey, that Atlanta PD sent me down, sent me up here because we have a special task force with handling Ghostface attacks. And then that's when Sam and Tara see her, and she goes up to hug Sam, and I'm thinking, how does she know Sam? And then it gets explained that during Scream 4, when Kirby was a senior, Sam was a freshman, and they went to the same high school. And I'm like, okay, they explained it pretty simply. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm fine with that. And then she reveals, the knife wound from where she got stabbed in Scream 4 by Charlie Walker. So at least that's being brought up, and I think that's really cool. That's not kind of just something that's been written out. So that's, in canon, And she says, in one scene, she says, someone asks her, how is she alive? And Kirby says, technically I was dead for 4 minutes, but I was able to come back. And ever since then, I recovered, I got stronger, and I stayed angry. So that's the part I'm talking about. Even she was naive in the fourth one, but still cool though, because she has all of this horror movie knowledge. But she's still got that horror movie knowledge, but she's not, she's going to be a lot more cautious, all of that. So her character, I believe, is 30 years old, because, you got to think about it. Scream 4 was, 12, 13 years ago at this point, so that makes sense. So, okay, after all of that at the store, back at the apartment, a Ghostface killer sneaks in, and he is standing over Quinn. She's in her bedroom talking to her dad, which Quinn's father is that Detective Bailey, and she's talking to the phone. And I just gotta say, I love the characters of Sam, Tara, Mindy, and Chad. I think all four of them, I like them so much more in Scream 6 than I did in Scream 5. Especially Chad. I thought he was okay in Scream 5, but like I said, those four characters, I do believe, improve overall mostly. And, Chad comes up with a nickname for them, the Core Four, and they're making fun of it at first, but, they kind of get used to it, and they all call themselves the Core Four, at a certain point. But anyway, we're getting back to this Ghostface in Quinn's bedroom, and you just hear the commotion of her getting stabbed and killed in the background. You don't get to see it, but Ghostface all text the four core and sends them a video of Quinn just getting stabbed over and over, and then next thing you know, Ghostface, he throws Quinn's body toward the Core Four. He starts trying to kill them, and he ends up stabbing Mandy. He ends up stabbing Mindy's girlfriend, Akita. It might be Annika or something. I think it's Annika, but yeah, Annika gets stabbed in the gut, and he's just going up with the knife, and that, surprisingly, that doesn't kill her, but yeah, she's got a pretty nasty wound. And there's this guy that lives across from them in this apartment complex. I think his name was Danny or Donnie. I think it was Danny, but anyway. Sam, earlier in the movie, Sam has a thing for this Danny dude that's living across the street. And the Danny guy, he sees that Ghostface is standing over Quinn, and he tries beating on the window to try to warn her, and he tries calling Sam, because it's been revealed that even though Sam is hiding the fact that she has a thing for this nanny guy, but she's already talked to him in secret and is in a relationship with this dude. So, as the attack is happening, Danny has a ladder that he has in his apartment, and he gives the ladder to Sam, and they place the ladder in between the two apartment complexes, and they have to climb the ladder real slowly into his apartment. So Sam goes first, followed by Mindy. Mindy at first wants her girlfriend to go, but then she convinces, no, you go. So once Sam has made it, Mindy makes it across. And I'm not gonna lie, this is, there was only 2 parts of this whole movie where the waterworks were they were getting to me. They were starting to turn on. So, once Mindy and Sam made it across, it's Annika's turn to try to make it across. She gets on the ladder. Well, man, I'll tell you, this Ghostface is very mean-spirited. He's very mean, and he's so much more, public about his killings, obviously, from the beginning and in the store. He's just a mean killer this time around, it seems like, just so brutal and vicious. And Annika, she's on the ladder, and she's trying to make it across, but Ghostface already busts through the door. And on his end, he's taunting Annika. He's taunting her by, tipping the ladder over and, kind of shaking it up and down a little bit and moving it side to side. Before he finally tips the ladder over, Annika goes flying, and she hits face first onto the dumpster. Oh man, just that part, that was one of the few parts where the waterworks, they were there in that moment. Just the raw expressions on Annika's face, and especially on Mindy's face, just having to watch that, knowing that Annika is so screwed, there's nothing she can do but fall to her death. Like I say, this Ghostface, he's very, the Ghostface is very mean-spirited, and, all of that happens, and, all of them except for, I don't know where Tara went. She must have got away. Yeah, because Tara isn't anywhere. She must have got out pretty early before Ghostface noticed her gone. So, the police are there, paramedics, that whole deal. And then, Kirby gets there. Detective Bailey, he's there. He's upset because his daughter just got killed, Quinn that is, and he's like, you know what, they took me off the case, but I'm gonna kill the mother effer. And then that's when Kirby comes to the scene, and then followed by Gail Weathers, who I forgot to mention earlier. She shows up as a reporter, obviously, because she lives in New York. And Sam tries to punch her, but she ducks out of the way. And she's like, who do you think you are? I've been doing this for 30 years. And then Tara just, bam, just clocks her on the other side. I forgot to mention that. That was so good. That was funny. Like, the way that Gail, she makes Sam miss, but then she doesn't see Tara, bam, punch her on the other side. That part was so great. But anyway, so Gail shows up again and says that I have a lead. The police don't. I've been doing some investigating journalism, and they she says off the record, I have some proof, I have some evidence, I have something interesting to show y'all. So they all go to this abandoned movie theater, And it turns out that it's a shrine to all of the past Ghostface killers, all of their robes, like all pieces of evidence from all 5 of the previous movies. There's even a drawing of Dewey's dead body with his guts and all of that out. I mean, you got the whole works here from, different pieces of different memorabilia from all 5 of the Scream movies. And was it Sam or Tara? I can't remember who said it, but I think it was Sam that said it. She says, isn't all of this police evidence? This is not supposed to be here. And Kirby says, well, police, they love money. So she's implying that someone had given the police a whole bunch of money to dirty cops to get all of this stuff. So yeah, there's a whole shrine room, and you got all of the mannequins from the Ghostface previous killers, but all of the masks are missing from the mannequins. Only the robes are there. And yeah, so at each of the crime scenes, the Ghostface is dropping masks off. And they're doing it in reverse order. So the first killing of Jason and Greg, the mask from Richie and or Amber is dropped off at the first part. So instead of doing it from, starting with Billy Loomis, Stu Macher, they're going from, they're going 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. They've stolen the masks, and I will say the ghost faces in this movie are wearing torn up, old looking masks, because those are the masks from previous killers. That's why they are torn up. So yeah, they find this shrine room, and apparently this shrine room is registered to Jason and Greg, who got killed earlier in the movie. I mean, it makes sense because they wanted to become serial killers. They kind of technically did. So, okay, so they go to the shrine room. Okay, after they go to the shrine room, Sam comes up with a plan. Why don't we get Ghostface to come out into the open? That way we can lure him out into the open and get him and put it into this. So they do that. They go to the park, and there's a location in a penthouse apartment, and Ghostface purposely sets that address because that ends up being the address to Gail Weathers' apartment complex, or penthouse, I should say, because she's got for an apartment, she's got a damn nice apartment. So we get to Gail Weathers, and it looks like she's got a new boyfriend whose name I didn't really catch, but that doesn't really matter because he gets killed in this whole part. The phone rings. Gail's on her laptop, and her new boyfriend answers it. And she's like, he says to Gail, "Phone for you," and she's like, "Who is it?" And he asks, and he's like, "It's the killer." So that's when she gets the phone call, and Ghostface keeps her busy on the phone, and you can see in the background, Ghostface kills her boyfriend. But, it's kind of purposely done. I mean, if you catch it, I happen to catch it. So she's on the phone with him, Ghostface that is. And then after Ghostface gets done killing her boyfriend, he breaks through this bookshelf. And then that's when this chase starts. She's able to run into her walkway closet. I mean, she's got a big closet. And she's purposely got a safe to put her gun in, which is smart on her part. And she starts shooting at the door. And she's like, how do you like that, you bastard? And Ghostface is messing with her, and he says that, oh no, you hit me, I might be bleeding out. He's trying to get her to come out of the closet, and she's like, yeah, right, you're probably just fine. And you know what? He says, you know what? You win, Gail. I'm gone. I'm leaving. You won. You got me. And she's like, yeah, I bet I do. So he's trying to get her out by saying, you might have hit me. I'm bleeding out. And then he says, you win. You got me. I'm running. But she should have stayed in the closet. Some people might have a big problem with it. I mean, I don't, it's a Scream movie at the end of the day, whatever. I had a good time watching the movie. So she walks out of the closet. She should have stayed in the closet. One way in, one way out, with her gun pointed at the door. But she decides to walk into her big ass apartment where there's like 9 or 10 different ways that Ghostface can come from. And, of course, Ghostface pops out, starts chasing her, and it ends where she ends up getting stabbed in the shoulder, and then Ghostface ends up getting a broken piece of glass because Ghostface gets slammed through the glass coffee table, but he ends up picking up a piece of broken glass and stabs her in the leg, and then uses that same piece of glass to stab her in the gut twice. And again, this is the second time where I was like, holy shit, I'm like, oh man, these waterworks are coming again. Like, because I was like really worried that we were going to lose another legacy character. And once she's been stabbed in the shoulder and in the leg and in the gut twice, he's real close to stabbing her in the eye. He gets so close. And then that's when Sam and Tara and the paramedics and police arrive in time. And, it seemed like she died right then and there. But then one of the paramedics says, I got a weak pulse. So that pretty much writes Gail out of the rest of the movie because she's obviously going to be in the hospital, but I can confirm she does end up living somehow, but she ends up living. And as far as Sydney, they didn't have to bring it up, honestly, but they decided to address Sydney's absence. And Gail, before all of this happens, Gail said, I talked to Sydney right before I met up with you guys, and she said she sends her love, but she's going to take her and her husband and their 2 kids and go somewhere safe away from all of this. And that's the confirmation of her absence. Wherever a safe place means, we don't know. That kind of sounds definitively like she won't come back, but that still kind of leaves the door open for a potential return. I mean, we never know, so that's confirmation of Sydney. They addressed it. I feel like they didn't really have to, but I guess they wanted to, just to let fans know that, okay, she's still out there, she's still alive. So we got that confirmation out of the way. So, okay, we just got done dealing with Gail being really messed up. Now we get to about the third act where they decide, okay, Kirby decides to call Sam and tell her, look, we're going to go back to that shrine room from earlier and we're going to set a trap for Ghostface. So that's where the third act concludes, at that shrine / abandoned movie theater. So that's where they all go. Kirby, Sam, Tara, Mindy. Well, they're all planning on going there. This next part was in the teaser trailer, and this part, oh my god, this part was... It was so good. It was so tense-filled. It was great. So Sam, Tara, Chad, the Danny boy, Mindy, and Ethan. Yeah, okay, I think I mentioned Ethan. Did I mention Ethan? Anyway, yeah, I did. He's one of the roommates. So, Sam, Tara, Chad, and Danny all get on one train at the substation, but Mindy and Ethan get separated and they have to go on a entirely different train. So though they get separated, and this part, you got all of these people dressed up in different Halloween costumes, and you have conveniently people dressed up as Ghostface. Some of them are just, they happen to like the costume and they're not there to do any harm, but obviously, they don't know that. And then, on the train cart with the train car with Mindy and Ethan, the Ghostface killer happens to be on that one, but we don't know that until, it goes back and forth between the two train cars, and when the lights on the subway train car are flickering on and off, you have a Ghostface that's looking at Mindy. When the lights are flickering on and off, Ghostface disappears. He reappears and gets closer, then disappears. He reappears and gets slightly closer as the lights are flickering. When the lights are off, Ghostface is gone, but when the lights come back up, he reappears and slowly gets closer to Mindy. And then he gets right up to Mandy and stabs her in the gut, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, you know what? If one of the four core have to go, this is a movie to go ahead and do and off one of the four. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, like this was in the teaser trailer, but they didn't actually show her getting stabbed. They filmed it in a pretty good way where they kind of gave it away, but we maybe thought it was going to be some sort of prank, but nope, that's one of the Ghostface killers that stabs her in the gut, and the train car stops, and Ghostface, you have all these people around and they don't notice a thing, and that's what just makes it that much more eerie, and the train car stops, Ghostface gets off real quick and disappears, and then that's when Ethan sees that Mindy has been stabbed. I think I've been calling her Mindy by accident throughout this video, but anyway, it's Mindy, but Mandy, but you know who I'm talking about, Mindy. He sees that Mindy has been stabbed, and he gets her up and tells people, help, 911. She, someone's been, Mindy's been stabbed here, so that pretty much takes Mindy out of the rest of the movie, and she suspects that Ethan is one of the Ghostface killers before this point, and she's like, damn, you're helping me? She's like, damn, I got it wrong again. She's like, F this franchise. That my theater got a chuckle out of that one for sure. So, yeah, that's the last, that pretty much takes Mindy, that takes Mindy out of the third act, pretty much. So we get to the movie theater, or shrine room, and, as they're there waiting for Mindy and Ethan, those two never show up. Kirby kind of disappears for a minute, and then not long after that, Sam gets a phone call from Detective Bailey and says, look, I just called the Atlanta PD, and they said that they released Kirby 2 months ago. She's become unhinged, and she could be the Ghostface killer, and that had me thinking for about all of 10 seconds, and I'm like, hold up, dude, wait a minute. I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's got to be a barefaced bullcrap lie on your part, just to make Kirby, to make her look suspect. And I'm thinking, okay, we don't know this Detective Bailey all this much. So I'm like, I don't buy that for 1 second. They kind of make her disappear for a minute to make her look suspect, but I'm like, okay, come on now. Kirby's been in one of these before, and you haven't, dude? Like, nah. I think that's just a bull-faced lie on his part. So, we get to a part before the reveals. We get to the reveals. This is something I forgot to talk about, but this is just, like, real quick. This is before this is the first time they're at the shrine. Mindy is sitting... Mindy, she's sitting down. Kirby sits down next to her, and she says to Mindy, I hear you're a horror movie fan. I hear you love horror movies. And they just go on about their love of horror movies, and that was great. That was a pretty great scene. And that's part of the old the Kirby from Scream 4 that people love. And they, I heard a lot of great things about, people saying, okay, we actually like that scene. So, this is where we're going to get to the killer reveals. So, Tara and Chad are having a moment, and, in this movie, I think it's pretty obvious that Chad has a thing for Tara. And I think Tara also has a little bit of a thing for Chad as well. So, right before the killer reveals, they end up sharing a kiss. So, I think that's confirmation that they might be a couple until Ghostface stabs Tara in the lower back and pushes her out of the way. That's when Chad punches Ghostface, and we see the one Ghostface, and then we see another Ghostface appear out of nowhere. Oh, okay, I know what it was. Chad is beating the hell out of Ghostface with anything he can find, and he's gonna pick up this gumball machine and smash him over the head, only for the second Ghostface to appear and stab him in the ribs. And then that's when the two Ghostface killers are stabbing him repeatedly over and over and over. And I'm like, okay, if Mindy isn't gonna die, Chad for sure right here is going to die. He's being stabbed at least 20 30 times between both ghost faces, and he's got blood coming out of his mouth. Dude, I'm like, okay, yeah, Chad, he has to be done for... I'm like, okay, if they're going to kill one of the 4 new characters, he's going to be the one. And that's where we leave off not Sarah. I don't know where Sarah came from. But anyway, Tara and Sam, they're running as Ghostface is stabbing... The ghost faces are stabbing Chad. And then that's when Detective Bailey, he enters the scene... And then that's when Kirby appears from behind Sam and Tara. And you can see, it looks like she got beat up. She got knocked out. And it looked like maybe she got stabbed too. I'm not sure. But she definitely got knocked out. And I'm guessing that's where she was. And Detective Bailey's like, no, you two, get away from her. She's crazy. She's the ghost face. And then that's when Kirby says, don't listen to anything he has to say. And then that's when Ghostface appears behind Detective Bailey, only for Detective Bailey to shoot Kirby. So yeah, Detective Bailey is the mastermind behind these Ghostface killings. And this is the first ever Scream movie with 3 Ghostface killers. And honestly, I can forgive that for the fact that they're in a big enough place to get away with it, such as New York City. I've never been in New York City ever, but I know it's a huge place, so I can look past it. I think it's great. So... yeah, the other two Ghostface killers walk right up behind Bailey to unmask. The first Ghostface killer is Ethan, and the second Ghostface, well, the third Ghostface at this point is that girl Quinn, who supposedly got killed earlier. And the thing about that is, that particular part where Quinn supposedly got killed, that was borrowed from Scream 3 a little bit, but I liked the execution better of it in Scream 6, because we actually get to see her supposedly get killed. Detective Bailey faked her death in order to take her off the suspect list entirely. So it sounds like, I think either I think Detective Bailey, he killed some random person before that and swapped their bodies out. Apparently they used a dummy or something, or they used like fake stuff to make it look like she actually got killed, but obviously they faked her death. That way they could entirely take her off the suspect list. So Quinn was the one to nearly kill Gale Weathers, because Detective Bailey and Ethan at the time were at the park. So, and then supposedly Quinn had been dead this whole time. I actually really like that. I mean, I don't know, maybe people have a problem with that, but I think them doing 3 killers in this instance, I think they can get away with it pretty easily, in my opinion, because it is a big place. Maybe the reveals are something to be left to be desired, but I didn't have a problem with the reveals, and all 3 of them have the same motive. Their motive is good old-fashioned revenge. Yeah, that is borrowed from Scream 2 for sure, that motive. But honestly, I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it, honestly. Yeah, I'm okay with that, honestly. I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, it's a Scream movie. I mean, there's some disbelief I can just look past. So it turns out that Detective Bailey, Ethan, and Quinn, Detective Bailey, Quinn, is her father, and, Ethan is his son, and their family member they want revenge for is Richie from Scream 5. So, yeah, like in Scream 2, when Debbie Salt, aka Nancy Loomis, she wants revenge on Sidney Prescott, for her killing Billy Loomis. Mother wants revenge, on the person that killed her son. Same thing here, but they flipped it around. Father wants revenge, on the person that killed his other son. So, yeah, Richie was Quinn and Ethan's other sibling, and Detective Bailey, that was his oldest son. And, they knew he was crazy as hell. They knew he committed the murders and all of that. And it turns out that Detective Bailey, he made that shrine room for Richie, or in memory of Richie, because Richie was so much into the Stab franchise, and he just registered the shrine room to Jason and Greg as a way to, to get that, in case anyone looked up who Detective Bailey's actual family and all of that stuff was. He just registered that shrine room to 2 completely random people, just to, just for the hell of it, I guess, So, yeah, their motive is pretty simple. They want revenge on Sam and Tara for killing Richie in the last one. And I'm okay with the reveal, so it's fine in my opinion. So, those three are trying to kill Sam and Tara, and then they end up upstairs. Sam, she picks up a brick and throws it at Quinn, and it busts her mouth. It knocks a couple of her teeth out in the process. This is where we're getting to the juicy stuff of this third act. So they end up going upstairs, Sam and Tara, and Quinn is following them closely behind, and Tara ends up almost slipping off into the first floor, but Sam is holding her up, and she says to Sam, you gotta let me go, you gotta trust me, you gotta let me go. And there's Quinn coming slowly, closely toward them, scraping her knife on the railing, almost like Freddy Krueger-like. And before she lets Tara go, Sam hands Tara the knife that she was holding on to, that she got from the display case of Billy Loomis's Ghostface. No, his knife was actually in a different display case at that point. But she hands Tara the knife, lets her go. Tara gets stabbed in the gut, only for her to use the same knife to stab Ethan right in the mouth. Not on the cheek, not on the cheek, but directly. He has his mouth open. She stabs him directly into the mouth, and she twists that knife. Ooh, man, that kill was, it was something else, but damn, good job by Tara. And then Sam proceeds to shoot Quinn right in the forehead. Honestly, Quinn getting shot in the head in this movie, that's actually the tamest death. Believe it or not, all of the rest of the deaths are pretty vicious or gnarly in one way or another. So Quinn's down, Ethan's down with that knife in his mouth. And then that's when Detective Bailey comes up there to see that both of his kids have been killed. So he freaks out, and she tries to shoot Detective Bailey, but she's out of bullets. And then that's when the two of them get into a scuffle. They end up going over the railing, and Detective Bailey comes too, but Sam has gotten up first. And then that's when Detective Bailey, he gets a phone call from Sam, and she's like, what's your favorite scary movie? And he's like, favorite scary movie? He's like, bull crap, I'm not scared of you. And he's like, quit effing around and show yourself. And then that's when she says that, let me see, I'm trying to remember what she said. I've been saying a lot. That's when he says, quit effing around and show yourself. He says, I'm a effing cop. Who do you think they're going to believe? And she says, the one that's still alive. And she pops around the corner all in Ghostface attire. This part, I will say, this is the, Sidney Prescott did this back in the first one when she was hiding from Billy Loomis in the first one. In my opinion, Sidney Prescott did it a little bit better, but I'll say Sam, she did it a lot more viciously, because she pops around the corner with the Ghostface cape, Ghostface outfit, mask, and all, and she just proceeds to walk up to Detective Bailey, and she is stabbing him over and over and over, all over the torso, all over his arms, shoulders. I mean, she is going to work. She is making him like a shish kebab. I mean, she is, like I said, Sidney did it a little bit better in my opinion, but I like both versions of it. But Sam does it a lot more viciously. She is just repeatedly stabbing Detective Bailey over and over and over, all over his torso, all over his arms. She's just going to town. And then after about a minute or two, she stops. That's when Tara walks in, and she's kind of like looking stunned for like a quick second, and then she nods her head to Sam. You know, she's already took the mask off after she gets done stabbing him over and over and over. She nods in approval, like, if you want to finish this bastard off, hey, I ain't gonna say nothing or do nothing. I ain't gonna stop you. So she kind of Sam hesitates for a moment, and then she proceeds to stab Detective Bailey in the eye. Oh my gosh, I really enjoyed this movie. There might be logical flaws in there, I'm sure, but you know what? I hadn't been to a movie theater since 2018, and this was a great movie theater experience, in my opinion. And, ooh, Ethan got it in the mouth, and Detective Bailey got it in the eye, and I'm just like, damn, like, ooh, are you sure you're not gonna turn into a killer in the next one, Sam? Like, but you know what? I don't think they're gonna do anything like that. Hey, she's just doing whatever she's got to do to survive in these situations. She might just be a tad more vicious than needed to be about it, but I'm not gonna complain at all. And then shortly after that, Detective Bailey's dead. Quinn is dead. She takes the robe off Sam, and they're having a little, Sam and Tara are having a little joyous moment. And then, you know, with all of the Scream movies, you know there's going to be one killer to pop up for one last scare, and it's Ethan who makes that one last scare, but Kirby gets up and she gets up in time as he's running towards Sam and Tara to push the TV on Ethan, the very same TV that killed Stu. And I just thought that was really great that they like recreated that moment. I mean, the TV was already busted from Scream 1. Obviously, it was done better in the original, but I still really liked the moment because Kirby was able to see that he was running, and she decided to push that TV, and it just, bam, it just falls on his head, and that finishes him off. So the police and paramedics all get there, and it's confirmed that Gail is doing just fine in the hospital. So she survived. Kirby, she survived yet again as she's being wheeled into an ambulance from where she was shot and or stabbed. And, you know, Mindy's on the way. They said they couldn't stop her even though she's got a gut wound, you know, from the train car. And she comes running up to all of them after all of the chaos has happened. She's like, I know who the killers are. I know who the killers are. It's Detective Bailey and Ethan. And then they're like, and Quinn. And she's like, damn it, I got it wrong again. So Mindy is supposed to be the movie expert, but she tends to get things wrong. But she kind of had it right, suspecting Ethan, but she didn't account for Quinn and Detective Bailey until it was already resolved. And we're getting to our end point, and then the paramedics say, we got one alive, we got another one, and it ends up being Chad. He ended up surviving somehow, even though he got turned into a shish kebab. He got stabbed in the last one, but I think he got stabbed a lot worse than this one, in my opinion, and he somehow survived. I was expecting one of those four to get killed, but a nice surprise, all four of them end up living, and Gail ends up living. That's another nice surprise. I like the Gail character. And Kirby, she's gonna survive as well. And yeah, I really loved it. I will definitely pick Scream 6 over Screams 5 and 3, without a doubt, if I was to ever rank them, Scream 6 is going to be above those two for sure. Is it better than 4, 2, and 1? Ooh, I don't know about that, but I still had a great time with Scream 6. If you're a Scream fan, I would recommend checking it out if and when you can, for sure. There's some fun in there for sure. Some people might be nitpicking and have, but they're doing that to find problems, in my opinion. I'm just like, you know what? It's great that Scream is back. There was a long period of time where Scream was totally gone from the horror movie space. And it pretty much ends with Sam. She has picked up her... I forgot to say this, but all three of the killers, they're all wearing the old torn up masks from previous killers. I think Ethan was wearing Nancy Loomis's old mask. That's Billy's mother. That would be Sam's grandmother. So Ethan picked out Nancy Loomis's mask. Detective Bailey picked out Billy Loomis's mask to try to make it more personal against Sam. And then Quinn, I think she picked out Stu Macher's mask. I did forget to mention that, but now that that's been mentioned, Sam has her father's old Ghostface mask in her jacket, and she's looking down at it, and then Tara interrupts her and says, "Hey, are you coming?" And then, after she gets done looking at it, she just drops it to the ground. And I honestly thought that was a great symbolic moment that, it's telling me that even though Sam is, even though two of her family members in the past were Ghostface killers, she wants to try to get away from that. She's had those, I guess, kind of like temptations, sort of, but, I think that's a great symbolic meaning. By dropping the mask, she wants to let that part of her life go and try to move forward. And I really like that. And like I said, I really like Sam, Tara, Mindy, and Chad a lot better in Scream 6. Especially Sam. I honestly... I didn't think anything was wrong with her character in Scream 5, other than she might have been a little boring, perhaps, but I think her slight character change in Scream 6, I think it made her a little bit of a better of a character, honestly, and, so after she drops the mask, and she's walking off into the sunset with Tara, the credits hit. And I don't think I forgot anything. If I did, it might have not been nothing major. So I know I really just sat here and talked, and now I'm not even gonna do my normal outro like I normally do, because I definitely need to get something to drink. So if you watched up to this point, I do thank each and every one of you. And what did you think about Scream 6? If you have seen it, just let me know down in the comments. And try not to put any spoilers down in the comments if you choose to talk about Scream 6. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys for today. And until next time, bye guys.